Hello, welcome to MBC News, and you are with me, Evelys Chingambi. Our top stories. Ministry of Transport and National Bank of Malawi plan to procure 2 new vessels that will be operating on Lake Malawi. Police arrest 2 suspects in connection with murder incidences that occurred in Machinga and Salima districts during the just ended Easter period. And government institutes measures to mobilize increased financing for the health sector. Thank you for joining us. Now the news in detail. Minister of Transport Japi Mhango has disclosed government agreement with National Bank of Malawi (NBM) to procure 2 new vessels that will be operating on Lake Malawi. Mhango made the announcement in Carter Bay after noting the concerns by the general public that the only reliable vessel operating on Lake Malawi, the MV Ilala, has outlived its lifespan. Hassan Piri reports.
The Transport Minister noted that the concerns which people are raising are genuine and need to be looked into with urgency. He therefore acknowledged that the MV Ilala has outlived his lifespan, having been operating on Lake Malawi since 1951. Mhango then disclosed that government entered into a public-private partnership agreement with the National Bank to purchase new 2 vessels that will start sailing on Lake Malawi.
We've been discussing with the National Bank, who have come forth to help us, particularly on the lake, with 2 new vessels. The bank has assured us that they'll procure 2 new vessels and then rehabilitate the Ilala. Ilala was introduced on the lake in 1951. As I speak, she's been on the waters for 75 years, a long period of time, and she has survived all these years. She still has life, good life, because I remember, if my memory serves me right, some 7-10 years ago, she was fitted with new engines. So she's very much alive. But in terms of woodwork, she requires a lot of refurbishment. So that's the more reason that National Bank is coming in to help us with the 2 vessels.
The MV Ilala is the only reliable vessel that transports people and goods to and from all the lakeshore districts of Likoma, Nkatabe, Karonga, Nkorokota, Salima and Mangochi. Hassan Piri, MBC News, Nzuzu.
Minister of Local Government Ben Perry has warned council officials, including councillors and chiefs, against corruption and abuse of public resources. Perry sounded the warning in Doha during an orientation for Central Region Council stakeholders, including councillors. Charles Wahara reports.
The local government minister noted that where the plunder of public resources is rampant, development is delayed, thereby denying citizens their progress. Perry therefore advised councillors to come up with innovative ways of increasing revenue collection in councils.
It is a known fact that here in Malawi, everybody seem to have an appetite towards public funds. It is therefore very important that we create a cohort that respects taxpayers' money, that puts taxpayers' money to good use. If we do that, we would have stopped or curbed or reduced corruption. And if we reduce corruption, we would have put money to good use, therefore the country will develop than expected.
Vice President of the Malawi Local Government Association, Maloto Jinkombero, says councillors will adhere to rules of accountability to reduce the leakage of public funds.
With the coming in of 5 billion kwacha CDF, most of the councils were stressed because of lack of staff to execute the developmental plans, and one of the most affected department was procurement. So this has come at a right time, because it means the capacity of councils have been boosted to handle whatever the development is going to be implemented.
The World Bank, through the Governance to Enable Service Delivery GESID program, has provided financial support towards the initiative. Charles Wahara, NBC News, Lilongwe.
And now in Parliament, government will release the approved farm gate price list by the end of this week. Minister of Agriculture, Rose Mbelizi, made the remarks while responding to a question from the leader of opposition, Simplex Chicholabanda, who asked government's plans regarding crop prices at a time when farmers have started harvesting their produce. More in this report by Mike Kalumbi.
Speaking in Parliament, Mbelizi said farm gate prices will be released by the end of this week, and ADMAC will soon begin purchasing crops from farmers to prevent vendors from exploiting them by offering very low prices. He added that all the prices have already been finalized and the government is only waiting for the appropriate time to announce them.
Yes, there was that question and I responded to it that we'll soon release the farm gate prices probably by Friday this week. It's very important that we have farm gate prices. It's not just about maize, but all other crops, including milk products.
Meanwhile, the minister said that the government will continue implementing the Mega Farms program and will ensure that people across the country are covered when it comes to food security.
It will be implemented the way it was meant to be implemented, because as you are aware, the previous government grossly abused mega farms. Mega farms are supposed to be big farms. The name says for itself. And in as far as the DPP government is concerned, as put in our manifesto and very well said by the president, we are focusing on mega farms in terms of a big farmer and anchoring smaller farmers. So that's the model that we are using.
Every year, when farmers begin harvesting their crops, the government releases a list of approved buying prices. These prices are set to prevent some traders from exploiting farmers by buying their produce at unfairly low prices. Mike Kalumbi, NBC News, Parliament.
Leader of the House, Jabi Mhango, has appealed for patience as the Public Accounts Committee finalizes a report on the controversial Amaryllis Hotel deal. Mhango made the remarks in Parliament when some members of the House were pushing for Parliament to discuss contents of the report. Isaac Jali has a report.
When deliberations resumed after the morning tea break, Member of Parliament for Dedza Kasina, Joshua Malango, moved that the Public Accounts Committee of Parliament PAC should present a report on the sale of Amaryllis Hotel. Malango argued that people are waiting to know the outcome of the inquiry. However, standing on a point of order, Blantyre Chichiri Misesa, Member of Parliament, Temba Nkandawire, himself a member of the Public Accounts Committee of Parliament, dismissed the proposal, saying the Public Accounts Committee of Parliament is not yet done with investigations on the issue. Nkandawire said some individuals such as former Chief Secretary to the government, Colin Zamba, and a Mr. Yusufu of Yusufu Investment, owners of the controversial hotel, are yet to appear before the PAC, hence the report remains incomplete for now.
It is unfortunate that the honorable member who has just resumed his seat to rise in this house and to talk about the issue of Amaryllis Hotel and insinuate to Malawians that this side is refusing to bring out the report. When I am one of the members in the Public Accounts Committee, we are still discussing. We have got some sticker issues surrounding the report, and what we would want to do, First Deputy Speaker, is to come out with a report that will not be questionable by Malawians.
Concurring with Nkandawire, Leader of the House, Jabi Mhango, cautioned against rushing the process, saying this could result in an incomplete report being presented.
There are some very key characters within the inquiry itself that have not appeared before the inquiry team itself, before the committee. And these are very critical individuals that must appear before the inquiry, in our view, because they were at the center of this transaction. And if you read our standing orders, Standing Order 177, it says that if someone has been mentioned in any inquiry, the committee shall take every step to make sure that those mentioned either appear in person or issue a written statement.
The Public Accounts Committee of Parliament has for the past several weeks summoned a number of stakeholders to provide information on the matter. Isaac Jali, MPC, Parliament.
The Parliamentary Committee on Natural Resources, Energy and Climate Change has emphasized the need for local manufacturers and companies to abide by environmental laws when executing their duties. Chairperson for the committee, Taone Henry, said this after visiting Portland Cement Limited's Balaka manufacturing site, where the committee noted lapses in some areas, such as operating without some mining licenses. Pomloga has more.
During the visit, the committee expressed satisfaction with some of the company's operations, including systematic treatment of water for recycling as a way of controlling the release of chemical water to the public. The committee, however, expressed worry due to the fact that the company is using an environmental impact assessment that was done in 2012, saying this is a big anomaly and has a forced reflection. The committee has since summoned the company together with the Mining and Minerals Regulatory Authority, MMRA, as well as Malawi Environmental Protection Authority, MEPA, to appear before Parliament. Taone Henry is chairperson for the committee.
We have discussed, but not conclusively. We will go back and invite them to Parliament together with MEPA again, MMRA, because there's some sort of mining happening around, and we would want to understand on the issues of mining that is happening, that is taking place at this place. So we will invite MMRA, which is the regulator for the mining, but also we'll invite National Water Resource Authority, which is a regulator for the water sources.
Head of Marketing, Corporate Affairs and Administration at Portland Cement, Violet Vilili, applauded the Parliamentary Committee together with MEPA officials for visiting them, pledging to rectify all the noted gaps. She also called on the committee to help them in addressing challenges facing the company, including security lapses and delay in issuing of some licenses by MMRA.
Continuous improvement is one of the pillars on which we stand by, and the environmental impact assessment audit is one of the tools that could be used to ensure that there is this continuous improvement that is executed by the company. It is a requirement and a recommendation that has come through from the authorities in terms of delivering the environmental impact.
Portland Cement has a plant that produces about 2,000 tons of cement a day and 800,000 tons per year. Paul Mlowoka, MBC News, Lilongwe.
Police have arrested 2 suspects in connection with murder incidences that occurred in Machinga and Salima districts during the just-ended Easter period. In Luonde, Machinga, police have arrested witness Hambeani, aged 40, a mechanic based in Blantyre, in connection with the murder of Charity Floriano, aged 26. The incident occurred on Monday this week at Z Lodge, Luonde Township, Machinga. And in Salima, a man, Kansia, aged 20, is in police custody for allegedly causing the death of Abdul Panjwani, 22. The incident occurred last Sunday at Wheelhouse Cottage, Senga Bay, Salima, following a quarrel during which the suspect allegedly used a motor vehicle to hit his colleague. You're watching MBC News and you are with me, Evelis Chingambe. A reminder of the top stories. Ministry of Transport and National Bank of Malawi plan to procure 2 new vessels that will be operating on Lake Malawi. Police arrest 2 suspects in connection with murder incidences that occurred in Machinga and Salima districts during the just-ended Easter period. And government institutes measures to mobilize increased financing for the health sector. Welcome back. Principal Secretary responsible for administration in the Ministry of Health, Beston Gisamele, says government has put in place measures to mobilize increased financing for the health sector. Gisamele says this will help promote research and innovation in order to address the emergencies the country is facing. He said this in Lilongwe during the 2026 World Health Day press briefing. Beatrice Mape reports.
According to the World Health Organization, Malawi has made progress in reducing maternal and neonatal deaths, improving immunization and provision of antiretroviral therapy, attributing this to the advancement of science and innovation in the health sector. The organization says countries should adopt one health approach that connects between people's health, animal health and environment. WHO has also emphasized the need for countries to achieve the universal health coverage, strengthen the health system, to detect, prevent and respond to threats by leveraging on digital innovations. In his remarks, Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Health, Beston Gisamele, says government remains committed to advancing science for health through domestic revenue mobilization, pointing out the agreement with the United States of America as one of the avenues for the country's health financing.
We are aware of the reduced financing levels that we have had over time. So let me commend the government that in the last financial year, there was a bit of money that was put through the insurance that we can also leverage on that as to support the domestic financing. But what we're also doing with partners, WHO included, and other partners, we're trying to look at the ways where we can get more resources apart from what we are getting through Treasury.
The World Health Organization representative in Malawi, Charles Njuguma, has called on African countries, including Malawi, to increase domestic investment in scientific research and innovation for strong and resilient health systems, meeting their own health needs. Njuguma says such investments are critical in building a strong foundation for health security and economic resilience, among others.
In the era we live, we need to even use more scientific methods, including artificial intelligence, to be able to predict, because it's possible, and WHO is supporting some of those innovations, whereby through even artificial intelligence you can be able to predict some of the threats that are likely to come.
Meanwhile, Executive Director for Malawi Health Equity Network, George Jobe, has highlighted the need for every citizen to contribute to the health basket, citing the launch of the National Health Fund as a move in the right direction.
People must be contributing, especially from the road accidents. Almost everyone who drives can contribute or can be involved in road accidents. We have recommended that on a certificate of fitness, for example, we can put 1,000 kwacha. That must go to the health sector. There should be a percentage from our toll gates, carbon tax, which should also go to the health sector.
The World Health Day is being commemorated under the theme, Together for Health, Stand with Science. Beatrice Moape, MBC News, Lilongwe.
As the world commemorated World Health Day on Tuesday, the Ministry of Health has emphasized the importance of scientific research in the health sector. Deputy Director in the Department of Community and Promotive Health Services in the Ministry of Health, Mike Chisema, made the remarks in Lilongwe during a panel discussion which the Ministry of Health and World Health Organization organized to mark World Health Day. Chisema said there is need to rely on scientific evidence in health matters in order to protect lives.
Human life is costly. Human life must be protected. And if we do anything that's not very well investigated, we risk loss of lives. So it's very important that we, based on scientific evidence, to guide the interventions that we offer and provide to our people so that we can preserve human health but also preserve life. So it is for this reason that the Ministry of Health, even in its Health Sector Strategic Plan 3, that we have a specific pillar that is dealing with the research and innovation. Ideally, it's because we want to get evidence-based interventions, low cost, high impact, so that we can preserve human life.
In his remarks, Executive Director for Health and Rights Education Program in Malawi, Masiko Matemba, said it is imperative to allocate more funding to science to advance the health sector.
As we commemorate this day, the World Health Day, and looking at together with science, science has been one of the key components of driving the health sector planning and even implementation. But as you are aware, Malawi is a least developed country where science is used, yes. We are growing as a country after 6 years of independence, but there are some good things which we have observed in science in Malawi. One such is to have the University or College of Medicines and other colleges of sciences, which is now developing careers but also capacity of our local scientists to discharge but also to help the country in managing issues of science and health in Malawi. So I can say that in science as a country we are moving, but there are more challenges learning from Malawi. As you know, our resources are not adequate, so sometimes maybe people can do science, even the students here at the college might want to do science work, but it requires a lot of resources. Normally our science resources come from outside. We rely on partners to finance our science research and all those, but fortunately even though we're using science from other countries, the country has been able to manage to mitigate the effect of many diseases.
EcoWater, a Malawian company providing purified drinking water in colleges, says it is committed to ensuring that students have access to clean and potable water. Chief Executive Officer for the company, Chikondi Kangama, made the remarks when the company launched its kiosk at Malawi University of Science and Technology, MUST. Temba Mali has filed this report.
Kangama said besides offering affordable, safe drinking water, the initiative is also providing employment to students working as brand ambassadors within their respective campuses. He said the initiative to offer safe drinking water in universities was inspired by the urge to be part of the solution to challenges students face in their day-to-day lives, further pledging that the initiative will spread to other universities in the country.
The number one thing that inspired us to think about this solution was just the idea that we wanted to bring, safe water, safe, affordable water to the university communities. Most of us, we have been to these institutions and we understand that the welfare of students is something that is very important. And for us, we feel that if we contribute to the provision of safe and affordable water, we're making a significant contribution to the welfare of the students on campus. So among the other problems that we need to address, we feel like we can contribute in this way in a significant manner in this university, but in other universities as well.
Commending EcoWater for the initiative, MUST President Clement Kapwafwa said as students they have been inspired to be part of the solution to global challenges by offering innovations that respond to real issues.
EcoWater, as an initiative, it has provided an opportunity for students to access water at a very cheap. Not only water, but quality and clean water. As students at MUST, we are innovators, we are scientists, we are engineers. So to see EcoWater project which has come to life, it has inspired both students and innovators at our campus to take bold steps in both approaching investors, in both bringing prototypes to life, and approaching other stakeholders. So I can say this project is not only supporting and helping in terms of providing water, but also inspiring students and innovators to take bold steps to bring prototypes to life.
Apart from MUST, EcoWater has kiosks at University of Malawi, UNIMA, Kamuzu University of Health Sciences, KUHES, Domasi College of Education, and Kamuzu Academy. Under the initiative, students purchase an EcoWater credit card and load in units, which enable them to access water from the kiosks either at room temperature or cold at only 100 kwacha per 500 mils. Temba Mwele, MBC News, Tiolo.
And now in sports, Moyale Football Club has been crowned champions of the 2026 Northern Region Super 4 Bonanza after accumulating 7 points from 3 matches played at Chitipa Stadium. The two-day tournament featured 4 teams: Moyale FC, Chitipa United, Karonga United and Masters FC. Rodolfo Nyirenda has a report.
Chairperson of the organizing committee, Henry Banda, described the bonanza as a valuable yardstick for teams to assess their readiness ahead of the 2026 FDH Premier League season. Banda also commended the teams for the high level of competition displayed throughout the tournament, expressing optimism that they will perform well in the upcoming league campaign.
Competition was good, and satisfied with the competition. All the teams displayed good football, and it was competitive. I hope this is a well preparation of this coming Super League season.
Meanwhile, Moyale FC coach Pritchard Massa said despite winning the tournament, there are areas his team needs to improve on as they continue preparations for the new season. One of the sponsors, Managing Director of Perfect Property and Solutions, Precious GC, said the company remains committed to complementing government efforts in developing sports in the country.
Advocated by the government that the public-private partnership in terms of the development of several aspects is very important. So we thought that in the sports arena also, this is one of the areas where we need to join hands with the efforts that the government is doing and other private sectors are doing.
In terms of prizes, Moyale FC received 2.5 million kwacha for emerging champions, while runners-up Chitipa United got 2 million kwacha. Masters FC received 1.5 million kwacha, and Karonga United collected 1 million kwacha. Perfect Property and Solutions has since assured the football fraternity of their continued sponsorship for the 2027 edition of the Bonanza. Ludovico Nyirenda, MBC News, Chitipa.
And that's it from our newsroom this morning. A recap of our top stories before we leave. Ministry of Transport and National Bank of Malawi plan to procure 2 new vessels that will be operating on Lake Malawi. Police arrest 2 suspects in connection with murder incidences that occurred in Machinga and Salima districts during the just ended Easter period. And government institutes measures to mobilize increased financing for the health sector. For more news, visit Embassy Digital on Facebook, X and Instagram. You've been with me, Evelyn Stingambe. Thanks for watching and good morning.